Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Tolu, and if you're watching, just let me know in the chat your name and where you're watching from. You're welcome. Okay, so let's get started. Once again, you're welcome to today's webinar. My name is Tolu. To have you here with us. If you can see my screen, can you please let me know? Okay. Just going to start the share again. Okay. So you're welcome to this seminar, to this webinar, the Meta Arts Framework for Coaches 26, how to turn AI-driven Meta Ads into reliable 90-day client flow system for your business. Right. Okay. So this session is for you if you are a business owner, if you're a marketing agency or you do marketing for your business, if you're a life coach, a career coach, or a leadership coach. It's also for you if you're a consultant, you provide done for you services and you sell programs that start from $1,500 and a month or as a ballpark package. And if you're already marketing online, you have content, you have emails, and maybe you have some ads, but your lead flow is inconsistent, this is the right place to be. And if you're tired of guessing with boost and random campaigns, you are in the right place. So you're all welcome. You can drop in the chat your name and where you are watching from. So what we'll cover today is what actually changed with Meta's AI. We're going to look at the Meta Ads framework that I have designed for coaches, consultants, and service owners, and to help you work with the changes that Meta's AI has introduced recently. You're going to learn how to design a 90-day client flow system around your offer. And for those that stay to the end of this webinar, I'm going to give you a prep checklist plus next steps to apply this framework in your business immediately. So a little bit about myself. My name is Tolola Jide. I'm the founder of Oak Marketing. Oak Marketing is a licensed marketing agency in Qatar and in the USA. I have been running this business since 2021, running meta ads plus content for service businesses. I'm an early adopter of AI. I've been using that since I started my business, even before AI became a thing or ChatGPT hype came about. I always believe that if you can use technology to develop your systems and help your workflow, it makes life easier for you. So I have been a very early adopter of that, and I'm so happy with the trend that is happening right now. I'm obsessed with turning ads into systems because an ad can work and then tomorrow it doesn't work. But if you have a system, you can plug in the system to consistently generate leads for you, and you don't have to spend all your time, all your life inside your ads manager. You can have that system working for you once it has been set up. Of course, there's nothing like set it up and forget it, but it is there as a consistent pattern that works for you, and you know what to check and what to look after. So let's do some housekeeping. This webinar will be like 45 to 60 minutes in duration. There's going to be a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So please drop your questions in the chat. And at the end of it all, I would take a look and answer as many questions as I can. And I want to encourage you to take notes. Lots of practical frameworks will be shared today. Lots of actionable tips will be given to you so that you can just go and plug these things right into your funnels once you leave this place. And like I said, as a free bonus for those that will stay till the end of this webinar, you're going to get my Meta Ads 2026 framework for coaches, which is also used for consultants and service businesses. Is a PDF document that talks more about this framework, gives you checklist, templates, and things that you can use to plug and play into your business immediately. All right, so if you're ready, like I'm ready, let's get started. So let's take a look at what your current strategy looks like. If your current strategy is that you post randomly when you remember or when you have the time, you boost occasionally, and then you run the odd ad when you start panicking about money or wondering where the money is going to come from, you don't have a system yet. What you have is a wishful thinking. But in this webinar, I'm going to show you how you can develop your system by yourself for your business in a way that suits the way that you work without having to make dramatic changes to your lifestyle or to the existing structure that you have. And if you don't have any structure at all, it's going to be a way of you're going to have these frameworks that you can use to develop the structure that can help your business scale without a lot of effort. So, what has shifted? Old meta versus new meta. What is this big shift that everybody keeps talking about? From 2018 to 2021, the old ways in which we advertised was we were told to have micro targeting. You must have this. Look for people that are consultants, and they must also have, and they must also be, and they must also do. We have all of this micro targeting that we used then. We have lots of dozens of interests. We have different lookalike audiences. Our ad accounts looks like spaghetti. There are so many multiple ad accounts, ad sets. There's so many ads that are running. We have many small campaigns spread all over the place. We have manual placements done. And of course, the boost button is always there conveniently for us to boost when we feel that the content or the ad is not getting enough traction, you know. And that worked. That worked in that time because that was how Meta was set up then. But with the advent of AI, Meta has changed to AI driven delivery. So if you have noticed that your ads are not working as well as they used to before, you are not mistaken and you didn't do anything wrong. You just did not realize that a great change, a massive change has happened with Meta, and you are still running your ads and using the same strategies that you were using before, which does not work now in the new Meta. The new Meta is AI driven. We have the Advantage Plus campaigns. Now you have broad and Advantage Plus audiences. The AI tells you to suggest light interest, and give it some broad specifications. It's just suggestions that the AI asks from you now. It is not something that is cast in stone anymore. Now we have automated placement. AI decides and determines where to show your ads and how to show your ads. And now the only thing that is left for you as your advantage is the creative and the data that you have. So your creative and your data are your competitive advantage in this new meta world that we are in right now. Okay, so let's move on. Now, why did this old tactic stop working? Some of the common failures are that we think that when we boost posts, we are advertising. But boosting posts is just equal to telling Meta, please optimize for engagement. And of course, Meta would do exactly what you have asked it to do. So when you ask Meta to optimize for engagement, it would look for people that would engage with your post, that would like, comment, share, maybe even save, but they will not go further than that. They will not become biased. The mistake we make is that we feel that when we reach out to these people who have engaged with us, they would automatically, sometime down the line when we keep on talking to them, they will automatically convert into bias. But I'm sure a lot of you have seen that this does not necessarily work for you. This does not necessarily become that. They don't become biased. And then you just have this list of engagers or people that have engaged with you, and it does not lead to what you want, which is for people to book a call for you, which is for people to actually buy what you are selling or take up your offer. And another thing is when we run traffic campaigns, we feel that traffic campaigns can bring us bias. No, traffic campaign, you're simply telling Meta, find people who can click on my ad, who can view my page. And Meta would go ahead and look for those people. They are clickers and not buyers. Clickers will always click, and buyers will always buy. And clickers do not necessarily become buyers. Now, when you have these people in your funnel and they take your offer of your free lead magnets and all of that, and you feel you are building a list with traffic campaign, which may be cheaper, which may give you cheaper leads, quote and unquote, in terms of your ad spend, and then you tell yourself, oh, I'm going to keep nurturing this list at the back end, and one day they will buy from me. But what happens is these people seldom buy. So you just amass a list of people who are not interested in buying, even if you give them the cheapest offer that you have. So you just amass that list and it becomes useless to you. And that leads to frustration that ads are not working, I don't have quality leads, and I don't have qualified leads. The reason you don't have is because you have sent the wrong message to Meta, and Meta has simply just carried out the message or the instruction that you gave to it. Over targeting is another thing that we see that makes your ads not work. Now, if you over target, you're simply starving the algorithm. You are telling the algorithm, I'm not going to give you enough data to work on. The algorithm now needs a lot of data to be able to learn about your business so that they can serve you the best and the right clients for your offer. So over targeting is not something that we should do anymore because that is not working with the new meta. Constant tweaking. When you constantly tweak your ad, you are putting that campaign in an endless learning phase. It basically just enters into a loop where it keeps learning and relearning, learning and relearning because you did not give it enough time to exit that phase and actually start looking for the buyers for you. And this happens because we do not have any idea of what we are actually doing, so to speak. We do not understand the data, we do not understand the figures, and that makes us take impulsive and emotional decisions. But when we understand our figures, when we understand our data, we would start taking logical and we'll start taking informed decisions concerning our campaigns. And down the line, in some few slides later, I'm going to show you how you can actually check your math, look at your data, look at your figures, so that you can know what to do and what not to do when you are advertising. So the core shift now. Before, the old question we had was, how do I outsmart the algorithm? What are the hacks? What are the tips? What are the things we can do to trick the algorithm to work in my favor? That question doesn't work anymore. The new question we have to ask now is, how do I feed the algorithm better inputs and control my profits? It's all about the signals that you feed the AI. It's about the behavior that the AI sees in real terms when your ads or your campaigns, your content is being consumed by your audience. So when you have this mindset shift, a lot of things begin to fall into perspective because you begin to ask better questions and the right questions. And when you do that, you are able to position your business, position your campaign in a way that works with the algorithm and not against it. And how do I do all this? I have designed what I call a Meta Ads 2026 framework. It's an AI first profit framework. This is a framework that I use for coaches, consultants, service based businesses to help them work with this AI now, with the algorithm, with the new meta, and not against it. And this framework has 5 pillars, which we are going to be examining today. I want to tell you that now you need to let Meta's AI win the auction. Let Meta do the heavy work for you. Let it do the heavy lifting so that you can win on profit. So Meta Ads 2026 is just a simple 5-part framework that tells business owners how to use Meta's new AI tools. All the Advantage Plus, audience, campaign, the automated placements, the creative AI. How do you use them to benefit your business? How do you use them to get more sales from the same ad budget without needing to be a media buy nerd, without needing to spend all of your time buried inside your ads manager? That is what this AI first profit framework examines. And the 5 pillars are the signal ready setup, the AI native campaign design, smart audience and data strategy, creative intelligence system, and a profit control and 90-day scaling. I'm going to take each of these pillars one by one, show you what it is, how to apply to your business, and why you need to apply this into your business. The first pillar is called the signal ready setup. This is basically when we fix the brain of your ads. When you tell Meta, this is what I want you to do, your tracking and your events, you make sure Meta actually understands what a good lead or a good sale looks like in your business. And that has to do with the signals that you pass on to Meta. And why this matters is that Meta's AI can only optimize if it is getting you good signals. That signal comes from your pixel, your conversion API, setting the correct primary event for your business. But when you have weak signals, you're going to have a dumb AI. You're going to have expensive clicks. You're going to have junk leads. Meta will spend your money and it will be at your expense. So that is why you need to understand that now you need to make sure before you start running any ad that Meta actually understands what a good lead or a good sale looks like for your business. Meta is only as smart as the signals you send. So you need to ask yourself some certain questions before you even start creating your campaigns. Before you touch your budgets, before you do anything, you need to fix your ad brain. Because if Meta doesn't understand what success looks like for you, it will happily spend your money on the wrong people. So, how do you make sure that Meta does not waste your money? The first thing you should do is you should ask yourself if your pixel is installed and firing. Your pixel is that tracking code that you put on your website and your landing pages, thank you pages, and important pages, so that when a buyer or a lead takes an action that you want, this message can go back to Meta and they can collect that data and understand that this is the kind of person that you are looking for, and they begin to find you more people. But if your pixel is not installed, if it's not firing properly, you are just wasting a lot of money and a lot of data, because all these people will come into your website, they will come into your funnel, but there's no way for Meta to understand or to know that they did come there. So they will just come in and go spend your ad money, and you will not have any data to actually understand who is the right audience for you so that you can tell Meta the same thing. The next thing is your conversion API on. I know we all remember the updates done by iPhone, where people now have the option to say that they do not want to be tracked. So Meta, to take care of this problem at least as much as possible, develop what is called a conversions API. This one looks at data and traffic coming from the server side, so that even if people choose not to track from the server side, they can still use their system, the algorithm, to check when people visit your website and they take the desired actions on it. So if this copy, the conversions API, is not installed on your website, then you are losing a lot of money and you are not sending the correct signals to Meta, or you are not sending the full signals to Meta that can make Meta optimize your ads and give you reduced cost per lead. The last question you need to ask is, what's your primary conversion event? As a coach, as a consultant, as a service based business, your primary objective should not be page views. It should not be traffic. These are all generic events that would only give you junk leads. You must be specific about the primary conversion event that has an effect on your bottom line, that actually talks to the action or what's the outcome of what you want your ads to be. Now, let's take a look at that in more depth. As a coach, a consultant, or a service based business owner, what should you optimize for? Your main events as a coach or a consultant are lead, a qualified lead. So that when they fill your contact form or they come to your website to fill your contact form, your application, or whatever it is, you have some qualifying questions. I'm not saying you build a gate, an iron gate that asks like 20 questions because you want to qualify so much. No, I'm talking about broad qualification that asks the core questions that would tell you whether this person is qualified to move on to the next step or not. You want to optimize for application submitted. Maybe you're running a course and you want people to apply for that course. That is something that directly impacts your bottom line because you can get them onto a call later. You want to optimize for booked calls, because once you are able to get somebody on a call, then you can sell them your offer or your service or your product. And sometimes you want to have a front end purchase event as your primary event. And this is when you have low ticket offers, which we call self liquidating offers, SLO. The self liquidating offers are just there so that you can use this money from this low tickets products to cover the cost of your advertising. That's why when you hear people say, I ran ads and I didn't pay anything for it, what they're basically saying is that they had a self liquidating offer which takes care of the cost of the advertisement so that everything balances and evens out. Now, when people purchase this self-liquidating offer, this low-ticket products, you can now upsell them down the line in your funnel to try and get more money or to get them to the next step to book a call, submit an application, or whatever action you have planned in your funnel. Your main events should not be link clicks. It should not be page views. It should not be generic traffic. It should not be post engagement as a service based business owner because this would never, or more often than not, get you to to the event or the action that really affects your bottom line, which is to get leads, qualified leads, to get people to jump on calls with you so that you can sell your offers. Now, let's do a quick tracking checklist. After this webinar, and by the end of this week or next week, depending on when you're watching this video, this webinar, check and make sure that your pixel has been installed. Test it. You can test that in the data part at the back end of your ads manager, your ad account. Enable your CAPI, your conversions API. You can do that through your funnel or your website tool. There's also a way you can do it from that same data section. Use it's easy to follow prompts. Meta has really simplified this a lot. Choose one primary event for your main funnel. Is it to get qualified leads? Is it to have appointments booked? Is it to have people jump on a call with you? Do you want to have a self-liquidating offer? Choose one primary event. And then confirm that these events fire correctly on your key thank you pages. So for instance, if I am optimizing for someone to book a call with me, the landing page and my thank you page after they have given me their details should be optimized for the event book a call. If all I have optimized for on that page is page views, then I'm not sending that information back to Meta that somebody has actually successfully booked a call with me. So we lose that data and we lose that information. And what happens is Meta feels that this campaign is not satisfying the objective because it cannot bring this results that you have into its own dashboard. So it works harder. Your costs per lead begins to rise, and you in frustration begin to think, "Oh, this campaign is not working," and then you turn it off. But that was not the reason. It's just that you did not confirm that your events are correctly placed and they are firing properly and they are the correct events on those thank you pages. So let's look at the second pillar. The second pillar is your AI native campaign design. You need to build your campaigns the way Meta's AI was designed to work. You should not work against this algorithm. Use all you have to work with the algorithm. So this means using Meta's Advantage Plus tools, using the new objectives instead of clinging to old manual setups. Meta still gives you the ability as of today to use the manual setup. You can switch to the manual setup. But by switching to the manual setup, you are working against the algorithm, not with it. So if you learn to use Meta's Advantage Plus tools, if you learn to use the new objectives that they have, rather than going to the old manual setups, you're going to cooperate, quote and unquote, with the AI to get you better results at cheaper cost. Now, why does this matter? Meta has rebuilt its ad system completely around AI. It is all AI optimized now. You have the Advantage Plus sales, Advantage Plus leads, you have the Advantage Plus apps. These are where the smartest algorithms live right now. So if you still stay with fragmented manual campaigns, you're fighting the machine and you definitely will not win this game. So what does an AI native campaign design look like? For coaches, consultants, and service business owners, start with a simple funnel. Have one Advantage Plus leads campaign as your main funnel. Have one retargeting campaign for your warm traffic. And optional, you can have one video views to keep bringing in the cold traffic into your funnel, or content promo campaigns when you have like the self-liquidating offer that we talked about. The old account structure that we had will tell you have 7 campaigns, have 20 ad sets, manual placements everywhere, put $5 per ad set. That was the way it worked before. But this new account structure says have one main campaign per funnel, have few ad sets, use the Advantage Plus placements, and have enough budget to test. Now, when we say have enough budget to test, I'm not $1,000 or $1,000,000 in your ad account. I'm saying that have enough money to be able to work with Meta in a way that can tell Meta or give Meta the time to actually find what you are looking for. And you need to give it enough time to do this. So you need to have that budget. And how do you determine how much budget you need per month? Depends on many variables, including the cost of this client and how much you're willing to spend to acquire a client. We are going to look at this also further down in a couple of slides now. So let's look at an example of an application funnel for a coach. You start with your ad and you send them to your landing page where you have a video sales letter and you're asking them to fill an application, or you send them directly to an application page. Once they have filled this application, you send them to your thank you page. And after they have done the thank you page, you have a calendar where you're asking them to schedule a call with you. Now, in this thank you page or in the booked call is where you're going to have your pixels firing perfectly well. And then you can now have your campaign, which would be like an Advantage Plus leads campaign, which will take them straight to the application page. And you can now create another retargeting campaign for people that viewed your page but didn't apply yet. When you have this type of simple campaign, it looks simple, but it is quite powerful. Then you can work with your data because you understand what to look for and how to assess and analyze this data logically and not emotionally. So, what are the key design principles in this new Meta? You should have one primary objective per campaign. Make sure you have enough budget to let your campaigns learn. Don't rebuild your account every week. Make changes deliberately, not emotionally, based on data that you have gathered. I need you to learn how to move from boosting posts to using Meta's AI native campaign types. You will use the same budget, but you're going to be using it with the most advanced technology that Meta has, instead of using the old way that many people are still stuck in. Now let's look at pillar number 3, smart audience and data strategy. Let AI find your buyers. This is just what pillar number 3 is saying. Give AI the right guardrails and let it find your buyers for you. In pillar number 3, in smart audience targeting now, you need to stop over targeting and give Meta clear boundaries and good data. Once you have given Meta these clear boundaries and good data, then you can Allow the AI to explore and find your best buyers for you. Now we just give suggestions, we give guardrails. We don't cage the AI so that the AI can give us its best. And why this matters is that Meta has shifted to Advantage Plus audience. So most of these audience settings are merely suggestions now. They're not strict rules. And the algorithm works best with broad starting points plus strong data. There are some non-negotiables that needs to be locked in. Once these are locked in as a broad starting point, and once you're able to upload strong data, which we're going to discuss very shortly, then you have given this AI the SOPs, so to speak, for it to operate in your company to find you the right buyers for your business or for your product. So that you control the location. These are your non-negotiables. Where are you targeting? Country or region? You control the age floor, that is the minimum age of the person I want this ad shown to. You control the language. I want my ads to be shown only to people that speak English language or to people that speak Spanish. You control your data, your leads, your buyers, your visitors to your website and to your social pages if you have installed your pixel. So once you have done this, AI will expand based on behavior. Behavior has now become real time. So once your ad goes out, Meta, the AI, is assessing and looking and judging how this audience are responding. It's analyzing on real time how your ad is being consumed. And this will tell it if it should show it to more people or quietly reduce the reach of your ads. So, your best data as a coach, your priority audiences are your past clients, your past leads, your website visitors, video viewers of key content, not motivational day or inspirational Tuesday. No. When you have written an authority post, or you have done a teaching or a training or shared something that is very valuable, and you have people that have watched that video, these are people that are your best data. Your email list. Remember, I told you about the email list you get if you're running traffic campaigns, that this may not necessarily be a very great list for you. So be careful when you put up your email list inside of Meta. Make sure that this email list is an email list that has had conversions so that you're sure that this email list contains your target audience. Otherwise, you're just going to upload junk and you're going to amplify this junk. So if you have your past clients and you have the amounts they have actually spent on you, you can upload all that information to data, which will give it more quality, which would increase its ability to find you more quality audience for your offers. Your past leads, people that signified interest. Again, be careful that your past leads are not from your traffic campaign, your paid views, and all of that. Actual people, actual leads that have gone through your primary event funnel but have not yet made a purchase. And have not yet made a purchase or subscribed to your offer. These are your past leads that if you upload them to Meta, it would give great signals. So, what you need to stop doing? Immediately stop. Stop stacking 20 interests to feel clever. No, this is no longer needed. Stop duplicating your ad sets for no reason. Stop excluding half the planet just in case. Exclude this. And you keep clicking on more exclusions. You don't need to do that anymore. As long as you've given Meta the guardrails, as long as you've locked in your non-negotiables, as long as you control your data and your creatives, then you are giving Meta enough space to work. And definitely do stop resetting your campaigns every 2 to 3 days. Give the AI enough time to learn and to work for you. I want to um, give an analogy of how you should view AI in Meta in your business. Now, if you hire an employee, you will have some sort of onboarding session for that employee. You're going to have an induction where you teach your vision, mission, core goals, your objectives. You're going to give the job description, the KPIs, the culture of your organization. You're going to give your new employee the SOPs to study. You're going to basically give him or her time to get inducted into your system. And that is the same as the learning campaign or the learning phase of the AI. When you have fed it with all the correct information, it takes time to learn about this. And once it has learned about your business, it begins to look for the customers and start doing the work of sales for you. So we need to stop playing interest hacking bingo. Instead, we should give Meta a clear picture of our best customers. Once we have done that, AI goes and finds more people like them, even in places you'd never think to target. And that is the beauty and the great importance and advantage of having the right signals sent to AI in this new era. So let's have a mini exercise. Before you run your ads, ask yourself, where am I going to show this ads? Which country is going to be my main country? Which region? Who are my real best clients? This is not who you wish as your ideal clients. Your real best clients, people that have actually taken out their cards to swipe and to pay you, people that are on your retainer, people that you have worked for or worked with before, people you sold a service or a product to that actually bought from you. Those are your real best customers. And if you can upload that information to Meta with the amount that was spent by that particular person, you are giving rich data indeed to the AI. Then you need to check your resources and ask yourself, what data do I already have? Do I have qualified leads? Do I have buyers? Do I have website traffic that is coming from my Meta pixels that have been installed correctly and firing? Once you have answered these questions, then it is time to move on to the next step of starting your campaign. The next pillar, pillar number 4, is called your creative intelligence system. Here we simply make the AI work harder with better creatives. Remember, I told you that AI controls targeting and everything. So, what remains as your competitive edge is your strategy plus the creatives that you have to offer. So, your creatives, your videos, your images, your hooks, they are now your main competitive edge. Because AI handles the delivery, creative decides whether people stop scrolling and buy. And this is so super important because the first 3 seconds, AI is assessing and analyzing your ad in real time. It's watching to see if in the first 3 seconds people stop, if they scroll, if they read, if they listen, if they watch, whatever it is that you have put out there as your content. But if they ignore, it is also analyzing and assessing and recording this information. So, what that means is that if people engage with your ads, if when you run your ads, more people, they engage with it, they stop the scroll, they read it, they spend time with it, you are giving the AI the signal in real time. The behavior of your audience is telling AI in real time that people like what you are putting out. And AI will quietly begin to find you more pathways to show your ads to more people. And the reverse also works because if people ignore or they click on this ad that it doesn't interest me, AI also quietly closes the pathways and begins to reduce your reach and how it shows your ad to people. So the first 3 seconds are so important, not because of the short attention span, but because AI is actually reading behavior in real time. So what happens in the first 3 seconds determines whether you're going to have um, a profitable ad or an ad that just takes your spend without results. So as AI becomes more automated, it becomes very important for you to have quality creatives because this is where your performance is won or lost. Meta is also rolling out AI tools, the Advantage Plus Creatives, the Gen AI, to help you scale creatives quickly. So when you upload your creative, Meta would suggest to you using its AI alternative creatives that you can use to show that it will tell you this would help you convert better. Now you have the choice to say yes to some or to all or to none. So now that we know that targeting is automated, creative has become your moat. You need to have your hooks, your stories, your proof, and your offers. You need to be able to deliver this ad in different angles. Your creative must talk to your audience in different angles: their pain, their problem, their desire, social proof, urgency, why now. All of these angles must be explored in your creative so that you can have that competitive advantage and make sure that your first 3 seconds count so that for the AI to open up more pathways for you. So what does a great ad look like for a coach or a consultant or a service-based business owner? First of all, you need to call out a specific stage. What stage is your audience having the pain? Where does it hurt, basically? For example, are you stuck at 5 to 10K per month? You need to name a concrete problem where it actually hurts. You need to describe a clear outcome, what I can do or what this product or service will do for you. And you need to show real proof if you have existing clients or to show a clear process if it is just new in market. So not having social proof does not necessarily become a disadvantage for you because you can use the angle of the process, how the process works. Maybe your own is the process is fast, the process is simple, the process is stressless, the process takes care of complications, the process is done for you. So you can let your angle dwell on the process if you don't have the real proof or the social proof. Now, I have this hook formula for you. You can take a picture of this page right now before we move on. So the first thing you do is to call out the stock point within a time frame or a contrast. So we have call out plus stock point plus time frame slash contrast. For example, business coaches still stuck at 5 to 10K per month after 2+ years online. This is specific and direct. If this is talking to me, I definitely would stop to read it because it is something that I am suffering from right now. Career coaches, what if you had 5 to 10 qualified calls a month without living in the DMs? Oh, this talks about a pain, is an ouch to me because maybe I have been living in DMs, sending multiple DMs and being ghosted and not getting the kind of response I want. And I suddenly run into this ad that is calling out my problem, telling me exactly the place where I'm stuck, within the time frame that I'm talking and offering a solution, definitely I will be interested in checking out this ad. So, what I would suggest and what I would strongly advise you to do is to build a creative bank. Don't focus on getting one perfect ad. Per one offer, aim to have 3 to 5 short videos, hooks, stories, proof showing different angles. Have 3 to 5 statics or carousels, also showing different angles. Make sure you have 3 to 5 primary text, 3 to 5 headlines that talk to different personas in your audience. That way, AI will be able to have different pathways and have more areas and more people to show your ad to. And by doing so, you work hard to make sure that your cost per lead is reduced and you get the correct audience for your business. Now, a very interesting question that people always ask me is, how do I use AI without sounding like a bot? A lot of people complain, oh, these messages I see online, they're so generic. I don't want to be like that. Again, I'm going to take you to that analogy or the example of your employee that you just hired. When you look at AI as an employee that you just hired, then you would utilize the same process as you would do for an employee you just hired. You will share with your AI your website, your URLs, your content, your offers, everything about your business that you want it to know to help it do its work properly. When you have done that, AI would study it. It will understand your voice. It will understand your personality. It will understand your tone. And you can even ask it to help you tweak it. So by the time you are done with all of this initial part of training your AI, whenever it generates content for you, the content would just be exactly your tone, your voice, your personality, because you have taken time to give that induction before using AI. Why people have bot like messages is because they missed this very, very important step in the use of AI. So, what are the things that you can use AI for? You can use AI to brainstorm different angles. It can bring up some angles for you that you did not even think existed. You can use AI to draft your first versions of your ad, your hooks, your offers. You can use it to repurpose your content. In 2026, creative becomes your most strategic weapon. AI can find you buyers, but your videos, your images, they are what would make this buyer stop. They are what will make them pay attention and click on your ad. So you need to build a creative engine, not just one ad. You still decide the hook, the promise, and the story. AI is not going to do these things for you. So it is human strategy with the power of AI. When you're able to combine these two, you get powerful content and powerful ads that will resonate with your audience. So let's have a mini homework, right? Before you run your next ad, I want you to choose one audience. Yes, I know you sell to everyone. Yes, I know everyone can use your product, definitely. But for now, choose one audience so that you can speak specifically to this audience in your messaging. You can have different audiences, but speak to one audience per campaign or per ad. Write 3 hooks using the formula that we looked at in the couple of slides back, and then turn the best one into a reel and ad to run in your campaign. Now to the last pillar. Pillar number 5, profit control and 90-day scaling. This is when you control your cost and then you are able to scale safely. And what is this all about? This is when you use proper testing and proper measurements to control your customer acquisition cost, also called CAC. You use this testing, this data to control your lead cost, and then you are able to scale what works without breaking or resetting your campaigns. And why does this matter now? AI will happily spend all your budget. That is what AI is designed to do. Meta is a business. So when you put money inside and say spend it, it would happily spend your budget. Your job is to watch the right numbers and make smart, steady changes, not random daily tweaks that would keep your ad in a learning loop, but deliberate, informed, data informed tweaks or changes that would make your ad scale safely. So, how do you do this and what do you need to know? The first thing before you even start an ad is to understand what the client is worth. Many times when you're running an ad and you start seeing the cost per lead is going to $30, $50. Oh my God, I'm spending so much money. I've not gotten what I need. This is a waste of money. I've got to shut it down. No. Why you're panicking is because you have not done this exercise you're about to do now. When you understand what a client is worth, when you look at the whole ad as a holistic thing, not just this campaign only, but the holistic part of it, then it becomes easy for you to understand these figures and to think and act deliberately without panic. When you know what a client is worth, when you know what you're willing to pay to acquire one, when you know your close rate from a call to becoming a client, all these things will help you to take informed decision. So how do we assess or how do we know this? Let's do a simple math. For example, let's say your client's value is $3,000. For the sake of this exercise, let's say the lifetime value, that is this client, maybe this client stays with you for 3 months max minimum, or averagely your client's rate turnover rate is like 3 months, and you are charging 1,500 for this client. And you're looking at, let's say, okay, this client value, let me take the worst case scenario. He stays only for 2 months. He pays me $3,000. So the lifetime value of this client is $3,000. Now, when I know that this client, I can get $3,000 from him, how much am I happy to spend to get this client? So if I say, okay, I'm willing to spend 25% of this $3,000 to acquire this client. And from my past data, I know that when I spend this kind of money, usually I get 4 booked calls in a month. And in this one, I'm able to close one. So we have a target of $750 that we spend for our ad in a month. And this $750 gets me 4 booked calls. That gives me $187.5 per booked call. So I know my figures. And suddenly, if I see the $30 or the $50 there, I don't panic because I know my figures. So I know that if a booked call costs me less than this $187 and is a qualified lead, I'm winning in the long term. And I'm willing to spend that money because I know that I can gain $3,000. Do you understand how that works now? So you need to understand this figure. Do this math before you put any money in any ad. How much is this client worth to me? So that when you now assess and check your ads weekly, monthly, whatever it is, you are able to take informed decisions, because if the cost of this call is higher than what you have budgeted, then you can look at the other factors affecting this and take an informed decision whether to stop or to adjust something somewhere. We need to learn to respect the learning phase. Don't keep changing your budgets every day. Don't keep resetting your ads constantly. And definitely don't judge your campaigns after 48 hours. When we do these three things, we are just keeping our ad campaigns in a constant and consistent learning loop. So it never exits that place. It keeps spending our money learning, and it does not even get out or get to the stage where it's able to help us get the business that we want. So, what do we need to do? Take your decisions weekly. Scale your winners gradually. If you see that you have a winning ad or a winning campaign, and maybe you put in to start with $20, $50 per day, don't just up it to $200, $500 because it's going to send a trigger to AI that there's something wrong somewhere. And that could send this ad that is doing well back to the learning phase. So you scale these winners gradually, and all the clear losers, you kill them because you have enough data to do so. When you run ads, you don't actually fail, you fail forward. When I say fail forward, it means that you have data that shows you why this did not work. So you can apply that learning to future ads to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes. And for those that are winning, you also have data that shows you why and how these things are winning. So you can also apply the same information to future campaigns to even get better results. So, what does this 90-day view look like? In your month one, you build and launch your system. Using the 5 framework, you set the right campaign, primary campaign, event campaign. You make sure that your pixels are firing. You make sure that the system, the structure for your design, for your campaign is set up. Then month two, you optimize your funnel. You scale the winners. You kill the losers. You optimize your creative. You take the suggestions that AI is giving you for the AI generated creatives. And in month three, you begin to scale what works. Now, when you do this, you now have what is called a system that can consistently give you leads. So you now move away from the feast and famine stage to a consistent lead generation phase where you don't have to spend all of your time in the ads manager because you have a system that will give you this kind of leads on a consistent basis. You have the data to analyze these ads when they are running, and you know what you can scale with confidence without being emotional about it. So, your goal now is not to get cheap clicks, it's to make predictable profits. When we work with clients, we agree on the numbers and then we use AI to hit those targets and to scale what is working without gambling your budget. And that you can also do. Know your numbers, know your figures, and begin to use AI to achieve those figures without gambling on your budget. So that's the 5 frameworks that we have done. Let's have a quick recap. We've looked at the signal ready setup where we tell AI exactly what we want it to do. We make it smart and intelligent. We have our native AI campaign design where we have simple funnels and not over targeting and complicated stuff anymore. We have a smart audience and data strategy where we upload our client list, our leads list, our visitors, and all of that. And we allow AI to go for the audience targeting because we have given it guardrails of our non-negotiables. We create intelligent systems with our creatives by having a creative bank which looks at different angles of the same offer. And lastly, we develop a profit control and its 90-day scaling system by understanding our numbers, what a client is worth, how much we're willing to spend, and now analyzing our data based off that. So, what are your next steps? You've had all of this information. What can you do with them? So on your own, you can audit your tracking and events. You can simplify your campaign structure. You can build a creative bank for your main offer, and you can definitely set up your 90-day goals to get leads, calls, and clients using the framework that you have been taught now. And like I promised, I'm going to be sharing a free PDF for those that stay to the end of this webinar. It's our Meta Ads 2026 framework for coaches, consultants, and service business owners, where you get these 5 pillars we just discussed in more detail. You'll have checklists and action sheets that you can use, and there'll be a simple tracking and budgeting templates for you inside of that. I'll drop this in the chat after the Q&A or during the Q&A session. And for coaches who want help, if you're saying, yes, I understand all this, I know how to do it, I get it, but I don't really have the time and I want help to get this done. You don't want to spend months guessing how to do this. You don't want to spend months figuring this out. We have what we call an AI success sprint. Is a 60-minute one-to-one session where we help you map out a 90-day meta ads plan in a strategy call. And I'll be dropping more information about that in the chat. There'll be a link if you want to book your sprint with me or if you want to learn more. I'll be dropping the link in the chat for you to learn more about it and book your sprint if you want. And you can always WhatsApp me on this number +974 3322 7759 with the word sprint, and I will share the link with you as well. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and I will check if we have any questions. Okay. All right. I think we're all good with this. There are no questions. So that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining me on this webinar. This is the very first webinar we're having on this channel. I hope you've learned a lot, and I'll be sharing with you this. The link is in the chat, and I'll be sharing by email as well so that you can have that. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and I will take time to take a look at these questions and answer them as best as I can. So these are the links. I'm dropping them in the chat. Let me know if you have any questions about this one. And again, thank you so very much for joining me on this webinar. And until next time, bye for now.